Hello everyone! Today is Tuesday and it is 2 o'clock, which is our market update. Just invite Ben on here really quick. I'm just going to pull up some stuff while we are getting started. I'm so excited to bring you guys some knowledge and some information today, like we try to do every single week. We're in our summer pink, which is always fun. So let me see what is going on with him. While we do that, I hope everyone is enjoying the sunshine. I try to get out there at least an hour every day. For anyone that's working in it, I'm praying for you because it gets hotter and hotter every day. Okay, let's bring the Benjamin on. It's like 17. Depressed, kind of like checking out these days. There's so many questions to answer. Hello, Benjamin.
Hello.
Happy Tuesday.
Happy
Two,
Tuesday.
two on Tuesdays. It's the 2 on Tuesdays. 2 of us, 2 o'clock on a Tuesday. How's your day going?
It's going great.
Good. Awesome. So we have a lot to cover today. I thought I would start with the market update for Pierce and King County this week. I think that's always good information. Let me just move my phone over here, back and forth. So what are some things that you think we should cover in the market update?
What are things that I think?
Yeah. What's the most important
Maybe
information?
kind of what the kind of how many days homes are staying on the market and
Okay.
maybe how many price reductions are out there.
Okay, I love it. So I'll start first with in Pierce County. We're still slightly in a seller's market. So we're right at that tipping point where, I mean, it can go each way, either way pretty rapidly. But overall, as a whole, we're still in a seller's market. And I think that's still inventory driven because we're still not seeing a ton of homes on the market. We feel like there's more than ever just because it's that seasonality and things are sitting a little bit longer, but we still are overall in a seller's market. I think this goes into price point specific and area specific as well. So making sure that your agent has all that information. But if we're looking at average days on market, they have ticked up even more. So when we started doing these lives, it was about 28 days average on market. Right now we're at 69 as
Ooh.
of this week for Pierce County. So if your home's on the market in Pierce County and you feel like nothing's happening, and you haven't hit that 69 mark, and this is just general, so your agent should be able to look at your micro market in your neighborhood and what that looks like. It may be condition or price. It could be marketing. I've seen that, some expireds come off the market that were listed with other agents and they list with a new agent and they have offers. So it could be that. But really looking at price, condition, you should be getting a weekly report from your agent of what's going on in the market,
Mhm.
so that you're not shocked or stunned, what's your competition, what has gone on the market since you've listed, what is sold, what has gone pending, how much has it gone pending for? Like, this is an active, consistent conversation. What are the marketing stats? What are they getting it out in front of? Are people still viewing it? All that kind of stuff. So, yep, 69 days on market. We had a 45% price decrease. So
Mm.
45% of the listings on the market have had a price decrease. I think this is just an adjustment too for where the market's heading. So you can list and in 2 weeks, the market just kind of falls a little bit because maybe your competition has increased drastically from 1 week to the next. And your neighbor went and listed their home for $20,000 under yours because they wanted to get it sold fast. So these are those things that we just got to continue watching and pay attention to. And then let's see, we have median rent. It went down a little bit, but not by much. $2,938 is what they're tracking
Okay.
this week for median rent for Pierce County. So,
Hmm.
okay, that's Pierce County. Let's look at King County. Pull that up really quick. Same thing. So we were at a 41 on a scale of 100 for Pierce County, which was still a slight seller's market. We're at a 42 for King County, which is still a slight seller's market. Um, we're looking at a price per square footage average is 525. I don't really like to look at that much because it's definitely
Mhm.
very specific. I mean, you've got Bellevue, Seattle, Des Moines. I mean, it's just, you can go all over the place Federal Way. Average days on market for King County is 64, so just a slight tick up from last week. Median days on market is 42, and we had 36% of homes listed had a price decrease.
Okay.
And the median rent for King County, which just this is median. So if you're looking at the highest and the lowest, it's
Mhm.
right smack in the middle. It's
Little.
not average. Is $3,750. So,
Wow.
and that is what that is for that market. Any questions on that, Benjamin?
No, it's good information.
Awesome. Okay, let's go into the next things. We wanted to talk a little bit about what questions buyers have in general in the home buying process. Before we get into that, I just wanted to get an overview of what we're doing today. Successes this week in the market for both of us, our clients, what you're seeing. We talked about the market. We're going to go over number 5 on our do nots. And then we just have some general questions that we formulated of what buyers are questioning or have questions on the financing side and affordability
Yeah.
in this market right now. So first, I will go over what are your successes this week.
You know, there's quite a few of them.
Okay.
So I'm going to kind of generalize them a little bit. I think that the biggest thing that I'm seeing is because I've been in the industry for 20 plus years and I've been through a lot of different markets. It is the going above and beyond for my referral partners and my consumers and clients in credit, income, and assets, and creating solution based basically answers for them so that they can not only create roadmaps if they're not there, rather than just saying, sorry, call me back in 6 months. So I think it's every client that we're helping. It's creating a real plan of home ownership. It's the roadmap that they need to be able to get there, or help them figure out their next goal. Most lenders out there, they just do the surface level, just get them into a home, get them a decent rate and go there. It's that next step that really is seeing a lot of good success right now.
I love that. Yeah, when I first started in the business, it was so interesting how many people that would say, "Oh, I went to a bank or I went to this lender," and they just said no. And I was like, "Okay,
Yeah.
well, what are the next steps?" I don't know. It's
It
like,
still
"Okay,
happens.
well, why was it a no?" I don't know. Like, and you don't know what questions to ask. And when you get no, you're like, feel defeated. So you're like, okay, never mind, right? You trusted this person. You think that they do what everyone else does, but in reality, that's not the case. So it
Right.
really does make sense to figure out what are the next steps. Is it credit? I mean, I would probably say 80% of people probably do have some kind of credit situation that could benefit them either through looking at their overall debt or, just upping their credit in general over, I mean, we're at like $3 trillion in consumer debt. So we're all there together. We can all work it on together.
And don't be afraid. I want to put this out there. This was a client that has been wanting to reach out to me for a while, and their credit isn't where it needs to be. There's some challenges. Don't be afraid to reach out and turn the light on. That's the only way that you can create a plan. We don't judge. We don't care where it's at. We want to help you increase it and get to the spot you need to be at. So reach out early and often, and let's create a plan together and create that so that we can accomplish your goals.
Yeah. I think everyone in general in society wants to look good and be right, right? And in this industry, we don't need you to look good and be right. We just need you to be vulnerable and honest, and that's the only way that we can move forward. And the more that people are willing to be vulnerable and honest and just say, here it is. I don't know what to do. Help me out. The further you're going to get along
Yep.
in life and in your situations, because we've all been there. I mean, I told you guys last time I've had a car repossessed. Our parents have helped us pay our mortgage, bailed our kids out of jail. I mean, we've done it all. So, there is no judgment. I'll show you my credit right now. It needs some work.
Uh,
So, like, we're all there together that, we're just here, just your normal people helping normal people get wealth in real estate. So,
yep, 100%.
awesome. Okay. So, my successes, did you have any more to share?
No, that's it. That was great.
Okay. We got a first-time home buyer into a home this yesterday. They just went mutual, which is super exciting.
Woo-hoo.
I shared it on my reels and kind of gave you guys a live update of what was going on throughout the day. They did get their closing costs paid for. Oh, I lost Ben. Let's bring it back on. They did get their closing costs paid for. One of the things is we were in communication with the listing agent all through the day, and he was very sweet to let us know that there was another offer that came in. And it was an interesting thing because he called me nervous saying, like, hey, I wasn't shopping your offer, but we have another offer. And honestly, as a strong listing agent, they should be doing that. Like,
Yeah,
they should be shopping your offer. They should be looking at that. This just happened to not be in my client's favor, but that just means the listing agent was doing their job.
yep,
And as agents, we need to be more understanding to that. He finally got the sellers to agree to list at a price that made sense for the market. So, but anyways, they weren't the highest offer, but they did get their closing costs paid for. We were able to do a quick inspection. But one of the things that this listing agent said that was a turning point was you calling and really advocating for your clients, Ben. And it just is a good reminder that, just little things that you do that seem so simple and common sense are not what everyone else does. So that was a good success and a great reminder always. So.
thank you.
I love working with first time homebuyers. I love working with all clients. They're just giddy and they get so excited.
They
So,
did.
okay, looking at number 5 on the list of do nots. This one is co-sign for another person seeking to obtain a line of credit or to make a purchase when you're purchasing a home. So,
Do not. The
do
big
not. Yeah,
Yeah,
this is a
do
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 not.
not do that, as I know that we may have been told by that creditor and or maybe it's a car loan, maybe it's a couch purchase or another home buy. Whatever that monthly debt is now on your credit. So if it's an auto loan that you're co-signing for a relative to get them an auto, please wait and reach out to us right away or reach out to your lender ASAP, because if that debt, let's say, is $500 a month, now that your debt to income ratio, we have to reduce by $500 a month. And that could disqualify you for your current purchase, and or take your purchase price from up here and lower it significantly.
Yep. So those are just, if you haven't been watching our lives, just comment below and we can get you a list of do's and don'ts
Yep.
when applying for your mortgage and continue us through until you get those keys. Like when you get those keys in your hand and recording numbers and
Recording.
not because you got them for early possession,
Yeah.
then you can start working through and going and living a wild life. So I usually find this happen with parents and kids like, well, their car broke down. We needed to get them a new one. Well, you may be living in it now or with your child. So just be careful
Yes.
on what you're doing. So. Okay, let's go back to where we were with things. Let's talk about financing and affordability. We'll
Okay.
just look at the first two questions and what that looks like. But buyers are really wondering, what interest rates can I qualify for?
Well, interest rates on home loans, I don't know about, any other debts, are primarily determined by basically the credit history, like the
Okay.
credit score, and the type of loan that you're looking for. Okay, so interest rates can vary based on first time home buyer programs. If you're looking for just like a HELOC or a second mortgage,
Okay.
each program can have, a different interest rate. So, one of the factors that can truly, help is loan term,
Mm,
loan amount, and the lender's risk,
mm,
having, how much you put down payment can be a huge factor in rate. If you're putting 50% down, that risk of that mortgage to that specific lender, if they're selling the loan or holding the note or whatever that looks like, can affect what the rate is. So there's a lot of determining factors. It's best, and I always go back to this over and over and over and over and over. And if you watch the live, you know that it is always best to turn the light on, because every person's situation is unique. The
yeah.
advertised rate that you may see online may be just a little hook fish tactic out there just to get you to call them, and then you call them, and maybe your loan amount or your loan program that you qualify for or that specific lender only has a few programs, and they offer you maybe a higher rate, or they don't have what else is out there, and then you don't get that advertised rate. So turn the light on, do a full pre-approval, not an automated one, to know for sure what that looks like, so you can see what you qualify for to start creating that plan.
Absolutely. I love that. And really, if it makes sense for you and you can afford it, now is the time to buy.
Mhm.
You buy, like you don't wait to buy real estate, you buy real estate and wait. And that's really what it comes to. Don't let the interest rate deter you away from looking at what your monthly mortgage payment is, because that's what it comes down to at the end of the day. So the next one, how much home can I afford on my budget? I know that's a generic question, so
Yeah. So the key is you one have to know what your budget is, right? You have to inspect what you expect, and looking at what you can afford with how much your budget is, it's essential again to turn the light on, so that you're not just looking at your mortgage payment and if you can afford it. It's all of the other debts, which are known to as like your debt to income ratio, which is, you may hear a lender or someone talk about DTI. It's broken down into debt to income ratio. And that just allows you to see what you qualify for and what the lender's risk is in loaning that money. In essence, just like we talked about, helps you determine what your rate is and what you qualify for rate. So the first is identifying what is your debt to income ratio and what does your budget look like, so that you can see what your max housing payment can be. You may qualify for a $10,000 a month mortgage payment, but you may only want to buy it $2-3 grand a month.
yeah.
So it's connecting the two. After you do that, the next step would be talking
If
about your.
there's any mortgage I can get for 2 grand a month, sign me up. Oh, I love it. Though that's great. One of the things kind of tailoring off of that
Yeah.
is I know that a lot of sellers are paying closing costs or offer rate buy down or whatever it may be. Are the sellers allowed to offer closing costs and on top of that do a rate buy down credit too, or is that loan specific?
So I don't have the max that someone can do in the state of Washington. There's a cap.
Okay.
of what's called like it comes into like section 32 violation is basically what it is, where the max charges, and that includes everything: title, escrow,
Okay.
fees, appraisal, like all the actual fees on a mortgage, and then a max of like, and to give a round number, I think it's like 3 points on top of the loan. So I think
Okay.
a total of 5 is what it is. Don't quote me on that right now.
Yeah.
But I think that's
Just
the
an example. Yeah.
exact, yeah. And so, yes, to answer your question, if a client or a seller wanted to give $15,000 in closing costs and then give another 5 to 10 for maybe a permanent rate buy down or a temporary rate buy down, they can. There is a capped max though.
Okay. So there's still some ways to strategize
Correct.
if you're not comfortable with that payment for the next couple years, what that would look like. So
Correct. I would say right now,
I
because
love,
we are supposed to be, is what I'll say, in a rate decreasing market, a temporary rate buy down is better for the consumer right now, because that money goes into basically an escrow account. And what happens is, in a year, if the rates do drop down maybe into the fives, and now your rate is the same as what you bought it down, you don't lose that on a permanent buy down. You lose it. You pay it. That's what it is forever. Whereas
yeah.
in a temporary buy down, you buy it down, it sits in that escrow account. And then as soon as that rate gets to where you want to refi, whatever's left in that escrow account goes to the principal of your mortgage. So that could be a really huge factor in the future. If there's 5-10 grand left over, now your principal balance comes down, which in return is going to lower your payment even more.
Awesome. I love that. Say rates don't come down, which I don't know why they wouldn't, and you run out of that temporary rate buy down in 2 years, could you do another rate buy down? Or is there a
Oh,
cap on that?
um, so like on a refinance is what you're saying?
Or yeah, like they want to refi now. They're out of their like now their interest rates back up to 7.5. They're paying 5.5 and then 6.5, and now it's at 7.5. Could
Yeah.
they refinance and then buy
They
down
could
their rate again,
their
or
own
would they?
cash. Yeah, they could bring their own cash in and or use
Okay.
equity in the home to do a buy down. Some lenders do not allow for a temporary buy down on a refinance.
Okay.
Just depends on exactly how you need to structure that. But a permanent buy down, yes, you can. And
Okay.
if the rates were to, just like we said, right now is a good time to do a temporary. At that time in the future, if these rates really are not coming down and it's stuck at 7.5 and they're not coming down, then a permanent buy down would be the right decision based on how much equity and how much it costs. And those are conversations, again, once you turn the light on. This is why we do a yearly mortgage review to find out what your goals are, what's going on, how much equity you have, do you have a bunch of debt we need to look at, what's your combined interest rate, and create kind of like a strike rate and a plan for your future to exit out of these higher rates.
Awesome. Love it. And just a reminder, I mean, we do send monthly home maintenance tips along with vendors that can help out with that. So from general maintenance to Bella, sorry, from general maintenance all the way to full remodels or whatever it may be. Here, meet my little Chihuahua. You already know her, but everyone else can. She's an old lady, and she has a collapsed trachea, and she just likes to cough all day while I'm working. So, but she's a sweet girl. How old is she? 13? Billy, you
I,
need some water.
I think she's older.
I think she's 15. Yeah.
Yeah, I think she's 15 years.
Yep,
So,
I love the little ginger pup. So we've got Bella, and then here's Buddy. Oh,
yeah.
but can you say hi? He's just a sweet boy. Yeah. Yep. And then we have two more. So we we just like lots of things, lots of dogs, lots of kids, lots of everyone. So I don't have anything else. Do you have anything else you want to share today?
Nope, that was it. We've been out here for a bit and we'll, no,
Yeah.
it's perfect.
Just a couple follow-up reminders. well, and another thing I wanted to add, but we do have our vendor program that I'm working diligently to put some systems behind. So if you know of anyone that services anything in our local area, it can be a hairdresser, dentist, doctor, attorney, carpet cleaner, mold person, home inspector, painter, nail tech, whatever it may be, we're looking to link up and create a group of high level, just average day people. We're not, it's nothing fancy, but just everyday people that, want to talk about their struggles, their successes, and work together to have a list of qualified people that we can send back and forth, uh, that we know, love, and trust, and that we like, right? We can attract our tribe, and that's what we're building here for each other to help elevate their business on social media, as well as elevate best business practices from, different tax strategies to eventually, hopefully, pooling our money in and buying some commercial real estate, whatever it may be. I've got lots of grand ideas together. So. And then if you want any documentation, Ben and I both do buyer strategy meetings right away when we have clients. I know not all agents do this. It's very alarming to me how many people don't. But we do our minimum buyer strategy meeting. Mine's probably a little bit longer than Ben's, where we're going to go over the whole process from start to finish. I cover a little bit about his stuff as well. But that is so important. And if you want our buyer guide that covers all of that information with Ben and myself and the team, let us know. Just comment guide and I can have it sent directly to you, which also has our do's and do nots in there as well. So
I would definitely, just a tip, that is probably one of the most important factors out there, is to be educated in this. So reach out and get this, because not everybody does one of these, and you can tell based on what you do when you go through the transaction. So make sure that you are getting a buyer's strategy meeting from your professional. And if you're not, reach out to us right away.
awesome. And if you just need some advice or help, let us know. From there, I hope you guys have a good day. We always appreciate everyone that shares, likes, and comments, or knows someone specifically that could benefit from this information. We're always super appreciative of the support in the community. Even if we're not your number one lender or agent partner, at least we hope we can be number two for you and always be a resource. So hope you guys are having a good day.
See you guys later.
Bye.